Part 78. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 775. The day after his date with Bumblebee, Qin Ji took Helena to the streets of Beijing. For today's date, St. Louis took Helena out yesterday to pick out some clothes for her, and he also helped Helena get dressed up this morning. So when Qin Ji saw Helena for the first time, he felt a sense of surprise. But it is a pity that people will become more beautiful if they dress up, but their personality cannot be changed. When walking with Qin Ji on the streets of Beijing, Helena always walked one step behind Qin Ji, as if the two were not dating, but Qin Ji was doing things and Helena was following him. This left Qin Ji helpless, so he walked along the street to the river, found a place with few people, and sat down with Helena. "Helena, are you unhappy about today's date?" Qin Ji asked. Helena waved her hands anxiously. "No, I'm very happy." "Why did the commander say that?" "Because I always see you walking behind me instead of beside me, even if you are holding hands." "Why is this?" Qin Ji asked. Helena was a little shy. "I feel like right now, I am not confident enough to stand by the commander's side. Because the commander has been surrounded by strong sisters for a long time, and I am not strong yet, so I want to become even better until one day I can confidently stand by the commander's side." Qin Ji couldn't help scratching his head, and then knocked on Helena's head. "Standing next to me has nothing to do with being strong, okay? Why do you think about these things all day long? There are people in the port area. An Icarus is enough. Don't think about fighting those aircraft carriers and battleships with the body of a cruiser all day long. Your advantage does not lie in your firepower, but in the intelligence you can explore. However, even with the use of SG, my exploration ability is still not as good as that of some sisters." Helena's affectionate expression was rather dim. Qin Ji smiled and said, "Then who was the one who constantly reported the precise location of the enemy to the rear battleships in the previous battles? You don't think this information is not important, do you? This allows us to destroy the enemy's main fleet several times faster. You are already very powerful, and sometimes I am even a little unsure about standing next to you, so I can only work harder to enrich myself so that I can be worthy of your commander." "Commander, don't say that." Helena blushed. "Why can't you say that? You've obviously said that to me, why can't I say that to you?" Qin Ji smiled. "I still remember when I summoned you, your lost eyes left me with made a deep impression. For such a long time, I have been constantly trying to help you regain your confidence. In fact, it is also an improvement for me. In fact, it's not just me giving you courage, but more often than not, you are giving me courage. Without you, I'm afraid I would have shrunk to the point where I don't know which corner I am now. How could I have fought against these siren fleets? There is a process of mutual improvement and progress between us. There is no such thing as who is better than another, so standing next to me is like standing side by side like this." Qin Ji said with a smile. "Commander, you always comfort me and encourage me so much." The corners of Helena's eyes sparkled. Although it was a cold winter here in New York Harbor, she felt the warmth of spring. "Oh, you are my ship girl. If I am not good to you, who should I be good to?" Qin Ji smiled and said, "So you are not allowed to say those stupid things in the future. You must know that you are excellent and don't let the past always bother you. With you, let us think about future progress together and win together, just like every time in the past." Yeah, Helena nodded heavily. "How has it become now?" Qin Ji smiled. "I feel very happy. I never expected to be so happy one day, but now I am really happy." Helena smiled. "You have a nice smile, but next time you smile, don't have tears in your eyes. If others see it, they will think I'm bullying you." Qin Ji joked. "Well, I won't cry casually anymore," Helena said. "Yes, Helena is cuter like this," Qin Ji said with a smile. "When you have nothing to do, Learn from your sister St. Louis. Look at how happy she is during the day. Haha, Commander is very similar to Sister Louis. She sometimes says the same thing Helena said. Because everyone is worried about you, and everyone wants to make you happier. Chin-Ge smiled, so stand by my side and let us complete this date happily, okay? Yeah, I will. Helena nodded solemnly and promised, and the result was that the following date was full of laughter and joy, and they also left more beautiful memories with each other. When the sun set, Chin-Ge took Helena out of the restaurant. At Helena's suggestion, the two came to the river again and sat on the bench again. Commander, thank you, I'm so happy today, Helena said to Chin-Ge. As long as you are happy, you will be so happy every day from now on, Chin-Ge said with a smile. Well, Commander, I'll do my best, Helena nodded, then looked at the setting sun in the sky. It feels like time flies by so fast, and we'll be going back before we know it. Chin-Ge smiled and said, yes, time is always like this, passing by in a hurry, so in order to retain the lost time, people invented things that can take photos. Having said that, I took a lot of photos today. Please ask Helena to find Gridley when she goes back and ask her to develop a few more photos and leave a copy for me. Yeah, Helena nodded. Ahem, the most important moment comes next, Chin-Ge said with a smile, put his hand into his pocket and took out the specially prepared oath ring. Although she had expected such a moment, Helena's heartbeat slowed down a beat when Chin-Ge took out the ring. There is no need to say too many words between us. We fight together and grow together. The past time has carried a lot of things. I hope this ring can give you strength, no matter what difficulties you encounter or where you are. You can feel that I am always supporting you and encouraging you by your side, Chin-Ge said to Helena. Well, is this the promise the commander made to me? I'm so happy. Helena's eyes were filled with tears and she smiled very sweetly. I will always be by the commander's side, no matter when. My ship girl, my world. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 776. Yesterday I was my sister, today I am my sister. Commander is having fun. St. Louis looked at the ring on his hand and said to Chin-Ge with a smile. Chin-Ge rolled his eyes, it's like I did something to you. You accepted the ring I gave you with joy, but after you got it, you started teasing me. If you had known better, you would have given it later, and waited until you were full of joy. I'll take it out when I'm anxious. Oh, Commander, are you angry? I was joking, St. Louis said with a smile. Do you think I'm angry? Chin-Ge let out a long breath. Actually, I feel quite ashamed of you. I used to love one person just fine, but now I divide my love into so many parts, which is a bit unfair to you. St. Louis smiled slightly, hugged Chin-Ge and said with a smile, Commander, do you really think so? But I don't think so. And we alone can't bear the commander's love. It's very uncomfortable to be stared at by so many sisters. Ahem, that's true. Chin-Ge blinked. Forget it, let's not talk about this anymore. How about we go for a walk again? Instead of driving around aimlessly, let's go for a drive. St. Louis smiled. Chin-Ge was speechless. Forget it for a drive, it's not summer now, it's winter. It's very cold to drive out at night. Let's just walk around here and chat, and when the time comes, let's go back together. Oh, I still want to stay with the commander for a while. After all, the commander at this time belongs to me alone. I might not be able to do it after I go back. St. Louis sighed as she spoke, but the cunning light in her eyes was you can't fool Chin-Ge. Stop pretending. If Helena said this, I guess it would be okay, but I definitely don't believe what you say. Chin-Ge smiled, although I don't believe it, I can go to your room to drink tonight, provided that if you have wine. Oh, St. Louis' eyes lit up, how does the commander know that I have a bottle of red wine in my collection? Chin-Ge touched his nose. Is it really worthy of being St. Louis? He actually reacted so quickly. Well, since you have good wine there, let's not get cold outside and go back together. Chin-Ji tightened his clothes. Okay, let's go home together, St. Louis said with a smile, but as the end of today's date, don't you want to express your gratitude to the commander? Expression, Chin-Ji was stunned, looking at St. Louis's eyes gradually closing, he couldn't help but laugh, and then lowered his head. The night is getting colder, but the room is very warm. Unlike other camps that use stoves for heating, the heating method here in White Eagle is much more modern. The overall decoration is also relatively warm. Now Chin-Ji and St. Louis are sitting close to each other, especially St. Louis's face has a drunken blush. Didn't you say you only have one bottle of red wine here? Why did you take out another bottle after finishing the one just now? Chin-Ji said with a smile. I said I have a bottle of red wine from my collection, but the bottle I just drank is not from my collection, so there is no problem. Although St. Louis was dizzy now, his train of thought was not disrupted at all. Oh, is this bottle of red wine your treasure? Chin-Ji asked with a smile. Commander, you can take a guess, St. Louis said with a sweet smile. Chin-Ji rolled his eyes. Don't think I can't understand the label. It's obviously the same as the last bottle. Hee, it's true. The commander has such nice eyes. St. Louis leaned on Chin-Ji. Is the commander just thinking about the bottle of red wine that I have collected? Chin-Ji looked at such tempting St. Louis and couldn't help but rub his nose. I'm not thinking about the bottle of red wine you collected, but because you mentioned it before, I wanted to ask. Haha, if the commander still has the ability to drink after drinking this bottle of red wine, then I will get you that bottle of treasured red wine. St. Louis smiled. Otherwise, forget it after drinking this bottle of wine. I don't think you can drink much anymore. Chin-Ji shook his head and said. Hey, isn't this better? If I drink too much, then the commander can do whatever he wants? Or is the commander afraid of something? St. Louis said boldly. What do I have to be afraid of? Besides, I feel like you are drunk now, Chin-Ji said helplessly. After all, Chin-Ji is no longer the Chu brother he used to be, the person who could blush even if the ship girl teased him twice. Now he has gone through battles and become an experienced man. Not yet. If you want to get me drunk, Commander, you have to work harder. I don't have Prince Eugen's ability to drink, St. Louis said with a smile. Chin-Ji couldn't help but twitched his mouth. Prince Eugen used this move against him at the beginning, and then the two of them fought hard all night. In fact, to this day, Chin-Ji still doesn't know whether he took advantage of Prince Eugen or Prince Eugen took advantage of himself that night. And he found that the situation in St. Louis tonight was indeed somewhat similar to that of Prince Eugen. But can he refuse? Or just leave? It turned out that he couldn't refuse and couldn't leave. Rejection would break St. Louis's heart. After all, although St. Louis is a ship girl, she is also a girl. For a girl to achieve this level, she needs a certain amount of courage and wisdom, and of course she has to give up a certain amount of face. Then keep drinking. What you said makes me want to know more and more what your bottle of red wine looks like, Chin-Ji said with a smile. Well, I won't let the commander down anyway, St. Louis said with a sweet smile. After the two of them drank the bottle of red wine on the table, St. Louis took out a bottle of red wine from his ship's space. But when he saw the bottle of red wine, Chin-Ji was stunned. Hey, why do you feel this wine bottle looks so familiar? Chin-Ji said. Why do I feel like, by the way, when White Eagle's York City came to the fleet, the gift she gave me was a few bottles of wine, said to be a specialty of Arizona. Later, I gave these wines to other people in the fleet, and how did they end up with you? I remember you were not in the fleet at that time, right? Hee, Commander has such a good memory. Although I wasn't there at that time, Helena was. He didn't know how to drink, so he gave this thing to me and I kept it. How about it? Is it considered a treasure? St. Louis smiled. Fine, of course Qin Ji smiled. Hee, then let's drink this bottle, but this time let's drink it in a different way. St. Louis smiled and untied the bottle, then took a sip into his mouth, then stared at Qin Ji with his mouth bulging. Qin Ji swallowed hard. St. Louis, like this is really incredible. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 777. Well, it's sunny and windy. It's a good day for sailing. Standing on the deck of the command ship, Qin Ji opened his arms. His body was no longer in the tight state he had been in since New York Harbor. Instead, he only wore a pair of beach shorts, revealing his strong body. Haha, it's true. It feels best to be back on the sea, Veneto said with a smile. And the most important thing is that I don't have to wear a heavy coat anymore, Qin Ji said with a smile. I thought the commander was going to say that the most important thing is that we can go home, Guang Hui said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled and said, indeed, I am about to go home. It has been almost 4 months since I left the port area. Although I went back once in the middle, I didn't stop for long before leaving. This time I can finally go home in a down-to-earth manner. Yes, after staying in Beijing for nearly a week, Qin Ji and his fleet finally embarked on their journey home. In addition to Enterprise, Hornet, Helena, and St. Louis, Qin Ji also gave rings to North Carolina and Lexington as promised, making them happy for several days. After that, Qin Ji stopped giving out the ring and took the ship girls to play in White Eagle for a few days. After Bismarck and others finished discussing cooperation, he said goodbye to the White Eagle camp and left New York Harbor. Commander, the sun here is quite hot, can you help me apply sunscreen? Prince Eugen, who was lying on the beach chair, said to Qin Ji at this time. Qin Ji blinked his eyes and said, don't you ship girls have trouble getting tan? I'm the one who really should wear sunscreen, right? Look at me, I'm much darker now than when I first summoned you. Prince Eugen smiled and said, oh. I think this will make the commander look more resolute and look like a real commander on the battlefield. After Prince Eugen finished speaking, Guang Hui and Veneto couldn't help laughing. Qin Ji rolled his eyes, although you are right, but it would be better to be a little whiter, right? Now my color is almost the same as that of Gu Tianluo. Who is Gu Tianluo? Guang Hui on the side asked doubtfully. Qin Ji waved his hand in embarrassment, well, that's a star in my world. You can think of it as an idol. He was originally a fair and creamy boy, but it turned out that he liked bronze very much, so he sunbathing the last one on the beach. Very dark, very dark. Is Commander also chasing stars? I can't tell it at all in your life. I have never seen you discussing this. If Lexington knew, she would probably be very happy, Guang Hui said with a smile. Qin Ji shook his head, actually, I don't chase stars much anymore. I just watched the TV series he starred in. And in addition, in the era I was in, there was an explosion of information. You can see some relevant information wherever you go, so just paid a little attention. But if it were Lexington, then I believe I would really like it. Haha, if you don't like it, you just won't give her the ring, Veneto smiled. Also, I'm curious, what are the people the commander plans to give rings to when he returns to the port area? Qin Ji thought for a while. Kongayakura may have spoken more. For example, Nashiro has been following me for a very long time and is the first ship girl I summoned. No matter what, I have to give her a ring. Well, indeed. Although Ms. Nashiro is not good at expressing, she likes the commander very much. The data revealed during the test at Shichsakura was very expressive of the problem, Kauki said. Then who else is there? Tiancheng, Qin Ji said with a smile. She is also the person who has always supported me silently behind the scenes. She participates in every command of the battle. If I don't give her a ring, I always feel a little sorry for her. Of course, there are Atago, Shinano, and Hai. They are the elders of our fleet and have been with me for a relatively long time, so they are the ones who should be given priority. What about Dong Huang? Although the number of Dong Huang shipmates in our fleet is relatively small, they are still indispensable. Who does the commander plan to give the ring to? Prince Yujin asked. Jinhai and Haitian Qin Ji said with a smile. Haha, I think the commander has already planned it, and he has arranged it so carefully. Prince Yujin smiled. Qin Ji touched his nose. I can't say that I had premeditated it. It's just that when I thought about giving a ring, I unconsciously thought of people I usually spend a long time with. This may also be the reason for inertia. Haha, the three of them couldn't help but smile, because all three of them had rings, and they were also one of the people Qin Ji just mentioned. But having said all that, Commander, why don't you put on sunscreen on me? Prince Yujin said with a smile. 2. Of course, I'm not a fool to take advantage of such a thing, Qin Ji said with a smile. Ha, but you refused when I asked you to paint it before, so the commander admitted that you were a piece of wood at that time. Prince Yujin smiled. Qin Ji smiled awkwardly. Didn't I let go at that time? Now we have nothing to do with each other, and I don't care about that. Haha, if the commander wants to apply it, can I stand in line? I haven't enjoyed the feeling of the commander applying sunscreen, so I'm a little curious, Guang Hui said with a smile. I want it too, Veneto said, raising his hands. Qin Ji smiled helplessly. Okay, 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 okay. Anyway, I have plenty of time today. If I can't finish applying it, I will apply it tomorrow, or I will apply it every day after I return to the port area, as long as you don't find it annoying. How is that possible? Even if it lasts a lifetime, I'm afraid it won't be annoying, Guang Hui said with a smile. Wow, Guang Hui, you are so disgusting. Sure enough, Commander prefers this kind of disgusting words, Prince Yujin teased. Oh, this is not disgusting. This is to express what I really think. Doesn't Miss Prince Yujin want this? Guang Hui asked in return. Expectations are just extravagant hopes. I am more realistic, so I will only cherish the time with the commander, and I will not think about the time when we are not together, Prince Yujin said with a smile. Well, maybe this is because of his personality, Guang Hui smiled. She had no intention of quarreling with Prince Yujin. After all, Qin Ji was here, and their identities would also make it difficult for Qin Ji. Well, whether it's disgusting or sincere, you are all the people I like anyway, so everyone should stay down today and I will apply it to you one by one. Don't worry, Qin Ji looked at the scene in front of him and smiled. Guang Hui is indeed becoming more and more like a matron. Hey, what are you thinking about? Qin Ji shook his head and immediately got rid of the chaotic thoughts in his mind. He took the sunscreen from Prince Yujin and began to apply it on the three of them. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 778. They have three more people here, sister. In the Chongsakura Villa in Minato District, Akage walked in and looked at Magi, who was sitting there drinking tea. There was a hint of worry in his words. Are there three more people here? Magi gently put down the teacup in his hand, narrowed his eyes and said, which ship from which camp are they all from? Royal Camp, Battle Cruiser Reputation and Counterattack, and Destroyer Hunter, Akage replied. The Royal Reputation and Counterattack, Magi nodded, supporters under the Queen's flag. I remember that there is already a royal ship in our port area, right? Yes, Ark Royal. When he said the name, Akage frowned slightly. Haha, it seems that our world has become the focus now, Tiancheng said with a smile. Is it because of the Lord? It's interesting, but no matter how you look at the current situation, it is beneficial to us. Let's wait for the Lord first. Let's talk about it when we come back. But sister, now the Embers have obviously regarded our port area as their base in this world. If there is a direct conflict with the Siren, then our port area will inevitably become the focus. This is very important for the development of our port area. The words are very bad, Akagi said. Amagi smiled and said, if you want to achieve a breakthrough in strength, you must be accompanied by risks. There is nothing for nothing in this world, and do you think you can develop quietly by staying in other parts of the world? The light of the Lord shines too brightly. Even if no embers appear, our port area will inevitably be the first target of the Siren attack in this world. In fact, we have always been in danger, and now it is just a choice. The Master's plan this time is very simple, that is to reach cooperation with Ember, so that the strength of our fleet will make a qualitative leap in a short period of time, and then we can stand on their stage to fight for the peace of this world. Otherwise, without strength, everything is empty talk. Under absolute power, strategy will have no effect. Am I too worried? Akagi said as he sat down. Haha, this may be related to your experience. As the leader of the Chungqing camp, I have a very keen sense of crisis. If there is a situation that I cannot control, I hope to solve it as soon as possible, but we don't need it in Minato. Amagi smiled. The Lord is a person who knows how to adapt. He is not as rigid as you think. Just like the last time the Purifier came to play in the port area, he chose to let him have freedom. This can already explain the problem. Sometimes war is not the solution to everything, maybe there is something more important to us than war. Haha, I didn't expect you, sister, to think so highly of the commander, Akagi said with a smile. This is not too high-minded, because I have always been by his side, so I understand everything he does and his inner thoughts. Amagi smiled, as if he was saying something very pleasant. In terms of time, he will be back soon, right? Akagi asked. That's almost it? This time, my lord, they are going to other camps, not for tourism, but mainly for cooperation negotiations. In terms of time, they will return to the port area in the next few days. As one of the current people in charge of the port area, you have to urge them to do a good job in patrolling the sea area. Otherwise, when the master comes back and sees that the entire sea area is loosely guarded, it will be a problem at that time. Amagi smiled. Akagi smiled bitterly. Sister, do you think I won't consider this aspect of my work? From the first day back in the port area, I have asked them to carry out a strict maritime patrol schedule. Coupled with the Helena in the Ember, unless there is an enemy as powerful as the Arbiter, ordinary sirens will not be able to approach our port area. Haha, I'm just saying, I'm very relieved when you do things. Amagi smiled with his eyes narrowed. While the two were talking, the door was knocked again, and a white figure appeared in front of them. Kaga, what's wrong? Akagi turned around and asked. Commander, they are back, Kaga said. Akagi and Amagi smiled, and even Luen, who was sitting next to Amagi, also smiled. It seems that it is still a few days ahead of the scheduled time. Your Majesty can't wait any longer. Let's go and welcome Your Majesty back to Hong Kong. Tiancheng stood up with a smile. Yes. Looking at the port getting closer and closer, Qin Ji felt extremely comfortable, and he was finally going home. Although I feel quite comfortable living outside these days, I still lack the solid feeling of being at home. Commander is very happy, Guanghui said with a smile. Of course, I'm finally home. I wonder what the port area is like now, whether Hai's injury has healed, and how the situation in the nearby sea is. Qin Ji twirled his fingers and spoke one by one. Haha, didn't we meet Commander Wu Hao on patrol before? Didn't he simply tell you about the current situation in the port area? Guanghui said with a smile. Well, although he felt a lot more relieved after he said it, he is not from our fleet after all, so we still have to confirm it in person, Qin Ji said. Okay, but I think Commander doesn't have to wait anymore. Look there, Guanghui said and pointed to the sky in the distance. There was a sound of aircraft engines, and a fleet of aircraft flew over Qin Ji's head from far and near. Looking at the somewhat familiar Zero fighter, Qin Ji said in surprise, "The people from Chongqing, aren't they Akagi and Kaga?" "Yes, it seems they have received the information about our return to Hong Kong." "That's for sure the company behind," Qin Ji said, "although our current communication facilities in the port area are not as good as other hotel camps, the communication in the defense zone is still very smooth." Qin Ji smiled and nodded. "Wu Hao, I want to give them a surprise." It is probably not the port area that Commander Wu Hao notified, because there are detection devices near our port area. Whenever a ship approaches, the detector will send out an alarm, and the port area will also receive it. "Commander, you can don't everyone know," Enterprise smiled. "That's true, but it's still a bit of a fluke. But seeing them like this now proves that everything in the port area is going very smoothly, and this is the best result," Qin Ji said. As the command fleet slowly approached, the situation in the inner port also appeared in front of Qin Ji. Qin Ji was extremely excited when he saw Chongqing and Dong Huang waiting at the port. As soon as the command ship stopped, he couldn't wait to walk down the descending stairs. "Thank you for your hard work, Commander. Welcome back to Hong Kong." Looking at the smiling people in front of him, Qin Ji nodded heavily. "Well, I'm back. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 779. It's more comfortable in my own place. Leaning on the windowsill of the room, Qin Ji looked out the window and smiled. "Commander, you have worked hard on this trip. You have been busy for more than a month, right?" Jinhai said with a smile. Qin Ji quickly shook his head. "That's not true. In fact, I have been quite relaxed in the past month or so. After all, I can understand my position by myself, so I usually leave the camp negotiations to Bismarck is here. After all, she has a very stable personality and is suitable for work in this area, and she also has corresponding experience. There are many things that need to be argued for. Regarding the interests of the fleet, I think it is better to leave it to professionals. What about my lord? Are you helping to plan the overall situation? Or are you doing other things?" Magi narrowed his eyes and smiled. When she just returned to Qin Ji's room from the port, she saw some things worn by the ship girls. In the past, there were only two in the port area, one was worn on Guanghui's hand, and the other was in Qin Ji's office. But this time, so many appeared at once, which surprised her. Has his master changed his gender? Start a harem on a whim? Ahem, Qin Geking coughed. "Actually, I have been busy for such a long time, but unlike Bismarck, she is responsible for the external negotiations and diplomacy of the port area, while I am responsible for the internal affairs of the port area." "So is this the reason why those rings appeared?" Jinhai smiled. "Does it mean that the commander's temperament suddenly changed and he wants to open a big harem in our fleet?" Jinhai, who is usually known for his cautiousness and meticulousness, made the matter explicit this time. It can be seen that Qin Ji's decision this time has greatly shocked his ship girl. "Actually, it's not like I want to open a harem. I have no intention of becoming a local emperor." Qin Ji touched his nose. "How should I put it? In fact, after the war was completed, I have been thinking about a question, that is, after experiencing such a big war, you always charge forward. Why on earth is that? Maybe it's for the justice in my heart or for my faith or just because you are my ship girl. So I have thought about it for a long time. Now that I have become your commander, I have the responsibility to make you feel happy in your free time during the war. But I am too busy to take care of everyone, so I thought of this oath ring and used this bond to bring peace of mind to everyone." So we used some of the red tips in our port area to buy a batch of oath rings from Akashi, and then in each camp, we took the opportunity to invite some of the ship girls with whom we usually have better relationships and give them to them. They. Haha, Tiancheng and Zhenhai laughed together when they heard this. Can I say, this matter is indeed very lord-style, Magi said with a smile. It is indeed very commander-in-chief. After all, not many people would betray themselves when something happens, Zhenhai said with a smile. Qin Ji was dumbfounded when he saw the two joking generals. Okay, so you two know about it. Is this considered a team to defraud me? Magi shook his head. Your Majesty, you were wrong. In fact, we didn't know it originally, but after you explained your handling style before contacting me, everything makes sense. In fact, doing this will be beneficial to our port area, and it will also give many ship girls a lot of peace of mind. It can be said that the Lord made a mistake and solved a hidden danger that was about to break out. Ah, Qin Ji opened his mouth. Hidden danger. Magi nodded. I would like to ask my lord, does your lord come back this time to carry out a new round of strength increase in the port area? And with our current size, we can definitely summon more ship girls come out and create a strong and powerful port area. Qin Ji nodded. I do have this idea, and I plan to summon the ship girls from tomorrow, so that they can get familiar with the port area during the period before the new year, and then everyone can happily spend the new year together. We can redeploy our training and scientific research plans after the new year. We must take advantage of this opportunity to communicate with Ember as much as possible and try our best to improve the strength of our port area so that when the next war breaks out, we will not be as strong as this time I stayed on the sidelines. So, it was the commander who accidentally eliminated a hidden danger that was about to break out, Zhenhai said with a smile. Before, there was only Guanghui on the wedding ship in the port area. Although there was still a chance to in the commander's office, but that opportunity was rare. If the same number of ship girls suddenly appear as there are ship girls in the port area, it is likely to cause a sense of loss, because the competition is already very high, and if so many people suddenly come to increase the competition, everyone's hopes will be very high. Slim. Then such emotions slowly ferment, then explode, and form a split among the various camps in the port area. Each camp group wants to win your favor, and it will once again evolve into a situation of 9 major camps. Ahem, no way, Qin Ji was stunned. Commander, don't forget that in addition to being a ship, we are also women. Women can do anything for the man they love, Zhenhai said with a smile. Qin Ji quickly waved his hand. Tisk, don't say that, I can't bear it. But this is the fact. Didn't the Lord notice it? Do you feel that since you sent the Ring of Oath this time, the ship girls in each camp have become more harmonious? Magi asked. Qin Ji touched his chin. That's true. Prince Yujin rarely interacted with Guanghui before, but since he gave her the ring, the two of them have indeed interacted more than before. This is a change, Magi said with a smile. In the past, their identities were the iron-blooded ship girl and the royal ship girl. Because the iron-blooded and the royal were at odds, they could only work together even if they were in the same fleet. If we talk about empathy, it would be huge. It's impossible. But after you give her a ring, their identity changes because they have a common identity, which is your wedding ship. Is that so? Qin Ji suddenly realized. It turns out there are so many connections here. Well, actually, my original intention was to make them happier. If such behavior solves some of the hidden dangers in the port area, then it's just an unexpected surprise. Haha, maybe it's because you care more about other people, Commander, that you were able to accidentally eliminate this hidden danger that was about to break out, Zhenhai said with a smile. But there is one more thing I want to ask the commander. Has the commander considered Dong Huang and Chongying's ship girls? As soon as Zhenhai said this, Tiancheng also looked at Qin Ji, expecting him to give him a satisfactory answer. Qin Ji smiled and said, "Don't worry, I have already planned everything. Haha, then we will wait for the commander's action. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 780. After briefly understanding the current situation in the port area with Tiancheng and Zhenhai, and making a small agreement, Qin Ji came to Chongying Xiaozu without stopping. Although Magi had previously said that Hai's condition had improved, Qin Ji had to see it in person. As soon as I opened the door, I saw a figure sitting under the cherry blossom tree. The whole person looked beautiful and agile. Hi, Qin Ji looked at the figure for a moment, then walked up quickly. Didn't Magi say that your illness is not completely cured yet? You are still in the recuperation stage, why did you run out? Hi looked at the anxious Qin Ji and bowed gently. Commander, long time no see, welcome back. Qin Ji held her arm and said, don't talk about this now. I'll help you to the room to rest. Hi chuckled and shook his head. Commander, don't worry, although he was indeed seriously ill before, but after this period of convalescence, he is already better. And there is nothing to do in the room all day long, so I might as well wait for you here. I originally wanted to greet you at the port, but I was afraid that my sick appearance would affect the commander's mood, so I decided to wait for you here. Qin Ji sighed, no, do you still need to greet me when you get home? For me, home is the place with the least rules, so don't mind it, but it's good to stay here. The wind at the port is relatively strong. Since you don't want to go back to the room, don't stand here. Let's sit over there and talk. Well, Commander, sit down too. The two sat on the wooden steps together. Qin Ji took Hai's hand and asked, what did they say? How long will it take for the treatment to end and return to normal? It will take a few more months. The trauma of the mind cube has fully recovered. We only need to synchronize the body and the Rubik's Cube to fully recover, Hai said. That's great. Your situation almost scared me to death. I thought I was really going to lose you, Qin Ji said softly. It's my fault. If I had been able to dodge in time, I wouldn't have made the commander so worried, Hai said apologetically. What you say is stupid, it has nothing to do with whether you dodge or not. The Arbiter's pressure on us is too great. Even if your position is replaced by Frederick the Great or New Jersey, they will still be injured, Qin Ji said, but now that I see you like this, I feel much more relieved. Yes, I also want to get well soon. After all, I am the banquet host of our fleet. The spring festival in Donghuang is coming soon. It seems that I will not be able to help the commander this year, Hai said. Qin Ji smiled and said, these are small things. Taking good care of your body is the big thing. The spring festival happens every year, but you only have one. Hai looked at the gentle Qin Ji and said with a smile, I feel like the commander has changed a lot this time when he comes back. Then tell me what has changed, Qin Ji asked. He has become gentler, and he likes to laugh more, Hai said. Qin Ji touched his face and said, I used to like to laugh. Haha, Commander, although you liked to smile in the past, there was always a feeling of hardness after smiling. But this time when you come back, the smiles I see on your face are all from the heart, Hai said. Ha, after such a long time, people always have to grow up. Whether it's about managing the fleet or about you. I don't want to be like before, not cherishing it when I have it, and then regret it after losing it. So I decided to spend more time with you when I have time in the future. No matter what the future holds, at least we have left happy memories together. Qin Ji said with a smile. Yes, that's what the commander said, Hai smiled. And when I came to see you this time, I didn't come empty-handed. I originally wanted to wait until you recover before handing it over to you, but I think it would be best if it could be used as a gift to you so that you can get better quickly. Qin Ji said, taking out a small box from his pocket, and with Hai-Ai's expectant eyes, he opened the box, and the oath ring shined brightly and appeared in front of the two of them. This. Hai-Ai's voice was obviously trembling. I think this is the best gift. Are you willing to accept it, Hai-Ai? Qin Ji took out the oath ring, stood up and knelt down on one knee, looking at Hai-Ai and said. Is this, Commander's oath to stay by my side forever? Hai-Ai's voice trembled, but his joy could not be concealed. Thank you, I'm very happy, but, Commander. What if the unfortunate moment really comes true? The epidemic is coming, but I still hope you will prioritize yourself. Qin Ji smiled and shook his head, considering myself, it is a bit too cruel, so I decided to let that day never come. Next, I will work hard to improve the strength of our fleet so that everyone does not have to go facing that day, let no one get hurt. Seeing Qin Ji put on the ring for himself, Hai-Ai chuckled and said, how is that possible? As long as there is a battle, there will be a moment of injury. But since the commander said so, I will definitely pay attention to it in the future. It is our oath to never be injured again and make the commander worry. Qin Ji nodded, that's good. Hai-Ai smiled slightly, with a trace of rosy on his face, well, Commander, I also have a gift to give you, but when I give this gift, please close your eyes. Okay, I want to give it to you. A surprise. Qin Ji smiled. Is it so mysterious? But since Hai-Ai asked for it, I'm looking forward to this gift. Seeing Qin Ji close his eyes, Hai-Ai's pretty face turned rosy, and then he closed his eyes gently and stretched his head forward. A warm touch rose on Qin Ji's lips. He didn't open his eyes in a hurry. Perhaps he had guessed what Hai-Ai wanted to do before, so he couldn't bear to ruin the atmosphere. He stretched out his hand, hugged Hai-Ai in his arms, and felt her kiss with his heart. In the 12th lunar month of winter, cherry blossoms were flying here, falling on the shoulders of the two of them, like a very beautiful picture scroll. When their lips parted, the two looked at each other and smiled, saying nothing. By the way, are these flying cherry blossoms the work of Nagato? Qin Ji asked. Well, Lord Nagato was originally the divine son of Sakura. The cherry blossom tree here was infused with divine power by her and built into a barrier, so it will always be like this and will never wither or pass away. Hai-Ai leaned on Qin Ji and said. Okay, that's awesome. Qin Ji smiled and said, when the spring flowers bloom in Chongying, how about we go to Chongying Island again? The last time we went there was a mission, this time we must have a good time there. Change. Well, everything depends on the commander. That's good. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 781. Now Qin Ji was standing in front of a building, and the black flame symbol in front of the building was obviously the symbol of embers. After thinking about it again and again, Qin Ji decided to come here. Although Ember was not there to welcome him when he came back, the keen ship girls still noticed a few lines of sight, and they were from Ember. So after watching Hai-Ai, Qin Ji came here. The victory in this battle was entirely due to their help, and now they have chosen to stay in their own port area temporarily. Due to reasons and emotions, they have to go and see each other when they come back from abroad. Just when Qin Ji hesitated for a while and was about to enter the hall, he saw a figure standing there. The smile was so familiar that Qin Ji couldn't help but be stunned. Helena. Haha, Commander Qin Ji, welcome back to Hong Kong. Helena smiled, although it is a bit inappropriate for me as a guest to say this, except for this sentence, there seems to be nothing that can express the current situation. Thank you. Since you are living here now, you are considered the master, so you can naturally say such things. Qin Ji smiled and said, actually, I should say sorry to you. Logically, I should return to Hong Kong with you as soon as possible. arranging your life in the port area, but it was delayed due to a series of things. This is my fault. It doesn't matter, you are the commander. For the development of the fleet and the fight against the sirens, the main business is important. Moreover, we are not bad in the port area. We haven't relaxed like this for a long time. Helena smiled. Relax, Qin-Ji asked doubtfully, so you were always in battle before? Yes, endless battles. We traveled through various parallel worlds, where we eliminated experiments again and again, but there was still no result. Helena said softly. I would like to ask, what will happen in the future? What happened in the original world you are talking about? What is the relationship between the ship girl and the siren? Why are the sirens doing these experiments now? Are you going to destroy these experiments again? What is the purpose of these experiments? Just to collect combat data? So what is the use of collecting combat data? Qin-Ji asked Helena. He had many questions in his mind that he wanted to know the answers to. Commander Qin-Ji, you have too many questions. I don't even know how to answer you. Helena chuckled. I know you have a lot of questions, but as I told you before, the fleet currently does not have the strength to understand these questions. Instead of asking me these questions, why don't we talk about how to cooperate next? Qin-Ji was stunned for a moment, then smiled bitterly. So is it a matter of strength again? Yes, do you know why we call it Ember? Helena said. The torch burns to the last hope, Qin-Ji asked. Yes, we travel through the world and have experienced countless battles, and we are just people struggling to exist in the world, constantly looking for different results. Embers, the last hope of the burning torch, rather the residue left by the burning torch. Helena laughed at herself. Commander Qin-Ji, do you know why we stay? After solving the arbiter of this world in time, we can leave this world. Qin-Ji shook his head and said in a slightly joking tone, don't tell me, you stayed because of me. Helena smiled, why not? Huh? I'm just an ordinary commander. I just have better luck. There's nothing special about the rest, right? To put it bluntly, if traveling across the world counts, don't you often travel across the world? Qin-Ji said doubtfully. Your Excellency, you underestimate yourself too much. A voice sounded, and then a figure came down the stairs. Qin-Ji looked around and found that it was an Ember ship girl that he had never seen before. However, from the outfit and appearance, Qin-Ji felt that she seemed to be fighting back. Hello, who are you? Qin-Ji said. Hello, let me meet you. My name is Counterattack, the figure said coolly. At this time, Helena introduced, Commander Qin-Ji, this is our counterattack in the Embers. Before you came back, she came to this world with reputation and hunter. After receiving the signal message we sent, also came to the port area. I'm sorry for not informing you before. Qin-Ji waved his hand and said with a smile, it doesn't matter. Since we have asked you to use the port area as a temporary base, it doesn't matter how many people come. What's more, the stronger you are, it is also a guarantee for us. Your Excellency is indeed what Helena said. He is an interesting commander. Counterattack smiled, this port looks quiet and peaceful. It is a very suitable place to rest. I am very satisfied. Ha, as long as you're satisfied, Qin-Ji said with a smile, but what's going on with the thing I just countered? What do you mean I underestimate myself too much? The reason why we travel through various worlds is because these worlds are originally composed of Laplace's demon, and the core of Laplace's demon is built with a Rubik's cube. We are very familiar with it, so we can find it. Loopholes, traveling through various worlds, said the counterattack. But Commander Qin-Ji is different. You are different from our ships. You come from a world without ships, or you come from a world completely different from the original world. This has never happened before. When he said this, Counterattack blinked and then nodded, So don't underestimate your specialness. The reason why we appear in this world, the reason why the Arbiter appears in this world, is probably because your presence disrupted the process of the experiment. So it was like a butterfly effect, causing a huge reaction. Also, let me tell you, in the worlds we traveled through, there were almost no commanders, but in this world there are so many commanders, but it is a pity that the so-called ship girls you call are just fakes. Qin frowned, put aside my specialness for now. Anyway, there will be plenty of time in the future. I will learn more about this issue from you. Regarding the fact that my ship girl is a forgery, I have heard not only from you, but also from Helena. So I would like to ask, can a forgery become a ship? Of course you can, but the conditions are a bit difficult. She counterattacked and looked at Helena. You might as well ask her directly. She knows much more about this than me. Qin looked at Helena and saw her smiling. Commander Qin, I wonder if you have time. Let's sit together and talk. What about the future? Qin nodded. The opportunity had been placed in front of him, and he would definitely seize it. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 782. You should have guessed some of the birth of the ship through those files, right? In Ember's living room, Qin sat with several of his leaders and ship girls, looking directly at Helena, Filong, and others. Because they had to discuss issues related to cooperation, Qin was worried that he had made some mistakes, so he still called the leaders of the ship girls from each camp. Everyone's brainstorming should be of great help to the negotiations. Yes, Qin nodded. We have been analyzing the files salvaged from the Siren stronghold. From the initial meteorite incident to the subsequent application of the Rubik's Cube, as well as the appearance of the ship girl, we have a rough understanding. But I am a little curious. It seems that this kind of thing is done deliberately by the Sirens. They want me to know the truth of all this. What is this? Haha, Commander Qin asked this question while Helena smiled, then clicked on the projection in front of her, and all the archives Qin had collected so far appeared in the image. The relationship during this matter is very complicated and cannot be explained clearly in a few sentences. For example, this file, Helena pointed to one of the files and said, first of all, let's talk about the Rubik's Cube, which is the basis of everything. Qin nodded. When the purifier came to the port area before, she also reminded us that we had neglected the research on the Rubik's Cube, and you are saying the same now. It seems that our previous direction did have some deviations. Haha, this is normal. Just like the world you are in now, the ability value of ships is generally low. Sometimes more than one fleet is needed to guard an area. All scientific research resources are placed on security. In terms of Dex's restraint and her ability improvement, she naturally neglected the research on the Rubik's Cube, Helena said. Let's talk about the Rubik's Cube again. The Rubik's Cube is the foundation of everything. With the Rubik's Cube officially in existence, the original world has experienced rapid technological development and energy advancement. These files have said that the energy of the Rubik's Cube is more powerful than nuclear reaction, but it is more controllable than nuclear reaction. Regarding nuclear reactions, I believe Commander Qin should know about it, so I don't need to say more, right? Qin nodded. I still understand nuclear energy reactions. Fission reactions and fusion reactions are just like our sun that shines every day. He is in the fusion reaction all the time. Yes, the energy contained in the Rubik's Cube is more intense than that of the Sun. After unremitting research by scientists from the original world, it was discovered that the energy in the Rubik's Cube comes from a higher dimension. It will not be deflected by the medium. The medium only opens a channel for it to connect to high latitudes, and the energy it emits is consistent. But the size of the Rubik's Cube affects the energy output. This principle is similar to that of water pumps and faucets. The thicker the pipe, the more water can flow out, and the thinner the pipe, the less. and its biggest feature is its stability. Compared with other energy reactions, because it is a medium and a channel, it does not produce changes in energy, and there will be no violent reactions such as explosions. Helena said, pointing to a file. Such energy is unique for civilian use, but for military use, its scope of application needs to be considered. So based on the energy cube and combined with some characteristics of the cube, the military started the plan of the mental cube. This was the beginning of the Shimmer project and the beginning of all the disputes. I have read some reports from the Shimmer project, but I don't understand. Although 2 battleships were prepared, why is there only one Enterprise that will be the product of the Shimmer project? Did the other battleship experiment of the Shimmer plan fail? Chin Ge asked. Commander Chin Ge is very smart to notice this, but what I can tell you is that the other battleship did not fail. For some reason, this experiment report was not marked, and now is not the time to talk about this. Helena said. Chin Ge shrugged, okay. Helena continued, the Shimmer project proved the feasibility of the Mind Cube, and the product of the Shimmer project was named Kodag, which is the key point G in Antix's mouth, which is what Commander Chin Ge is familiar with. That business. CV-65, Chin Ge asked, the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, Enterprise. Let's put it this way, her body is the Enterprise, the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, but her soul comes from the Yorktown-class Enterprise. Helena said, this is the resonance in the Mind Cube. Does it resonate? Chin Ge nodded. Yes, it can be said that the reason why the Mind Cube can transform steel battleships into ships is the most important thing is resonance. Resonating things that can represent the battleship's past experiences into consciousness is its greatest feature, Helena explained. Then what's the difference between you ships and ship girls? How can a ship girl become a ship like yours? Chin Ge asked. We have to talk about the connection between the mental cube and the ship. The original ship was indeed transformed into a ship by the resonance of the mental cube and something that could represent the ship object. However, after the Second World War, the wreckage of many ships and the members on the ships were no longer found. All that could be found were some records and history about her. Therefore, adjustments have been made to the mental cube here to make its resonance more universal in all human beings' understanding and expectations of ships, which means that it has become a product of miracles. Helena said. So all it takes is a large amount of materials, a mental cube, and people's understanding and expectations of ships to make ships appear. As for the later stage, Antix used Laplace's demon to calculate a simpler formula, which was to use the Mind Cube to transfer resources to create a ship out of thin air. However, because these ships have not received more people's expectations and are inherently insufficient in resources, their combat effectiveness is very poor compared to real ships. These ships are what we call forgeries. Compared with normal ships, although they have self-awareness, they do not place human expectations on them and cannot resonate with the Mind Cube to gain more powerful power. So Commander Chin Ge now understands why ships can be so different from fakes, right? Chin Ge nodded, so, can you say this? As long as my ship girl and the Mind Cube that makes up her body have the ultimate resonance, they can awaken and evolve and become a real ship. Yes, but it is very difficult to accomplish this, but this is for others, Helena said. For you, you will have the opportunity to accomplish this. What should I do? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 783. Emotion, Expectation, and Resonance, Helena said to Chin Ge. I don't understand, Chin Ge said doubtfully. I believe that my ship girl and I do not lack emotions and expectations. I also believe that other commanders besides me do not lack emotions and expectations. But they rarely awaken as ship girls, let alone turn into ships. No, Commander Chin-Ge, I think what I said and what you said are two different things. Helena smiled. The emotions and expectations you mentioned are what you experienced together after you summoned the forgery. Promoting emotions and expectations. But the emotions and expectations I'm talking about refer to the emotions and expectations that humans had for them when they were giant steel ships. Chin-Ge was startled. The era of giant steel ships? Is that when they were not ship girls? Yes, after you have read the files, you should be able to find that the original world also experienced the First and Second World Wars, which is basically the same as the world timeline where Commander Chin-Ge lives. Moreover, I have said before that the Shimmer project used the body of CV-65, the wreckage of CV-6, and the original captain of the Enterprise, and then used a complicated method to resonate between them, and finally it was born. The key point G is the Enterprise. So the process required to turn a fake into a real ship girl is roughly the same as this. But because your forgeries already have thoughts and wills of their own, there is no need to represent the remains of history. However, the steel and materials that build the body, as well as the emotions for the original battleship and the expectation for becoming a ship, are indispensable. Only in this way can the resonance be achieved through the mind cube, making the forgery one step closer to becoming a real ship. Helena explained. That's why you say I'm special? Is it because the world I live in has roughly the same history as the original world? Chin-Ge asked. It's not just that. Helena smiled meaningfully. Many of these things cannot be explained to you now, but what can be explained is that you represent our future. Please stick to your original intention and do it. Just do what you're supposed to do. Chin-Ge was helpless. Well, I found that all of you are just like the Riddler. You only speak half of your words and always hide the other half. Let's get back to the topic. The steel and materials you mentioned can all be realized according to the current strength of our port area, but how can we resonate with them? Helena smiled and said, we have our own method for this. Commander Chin-Ge can make corresponding preparations in the near future. Chin-Ge nodded, okay, but it's definitely impossible to get so much steel at once. We can only come one by one, and I have been away from the original world for several years, so I can't remember many specific data clearly. What's more, I study battle tactics and am not proficient in ship structure. Helena smiled and shook her head. We have the most complete database on ships, and Commander Chin-Ge can call it at any time. Oh, since you have a database, can you let other commanders in this world borrow it, so that they can also transform their ship girls into ships? Chin-Ge asked. It's a pity that they can't. The flying dragon on the side shook his head. I want to ask a very simple question, Commander Chin-Ge. If I mention the CV-6 Enterprise aircraft carrier to you, the first thing you will think of is the steel giant ship, or your company. Chin-Ge was stunned for a moment, then understood, so it's a matter of first impression. That's right, you saw the giant steel ship first, and in your subconscious you also saw the giant steel ship, and then the ship. This is the main reason why you can do it, but others can't. Fei Long said. Okay, so besides converting all my ship girls into ships, is there any other way to improve their combat effectiveness? Chin-Ge asked. There are many ways to improve the combat effectiveness of ships, and the ones that can usually be used are basically divided into several major types. Helena said, you already know breakthroughs, ship equipment, and ship girl teaching materials. The rest is transformation. And awakened. Let's not talk about awakening for now, because you don't have any ships yet. When you have it, when your ships can achieve the goal, I will naturally tell you. Now the only thing that can improve the strength is transformation. I saw that there are several transformed ships in your port area, but there are still many ships that have not undergone transformation. I want to know the reason. Ahem, there are no transformation drawings. Chin-Ge said awkwardly, the reason why they were able to transform is because Siren gave me some drawings before. Okay, I generally understand that you are really lagging behind in terms of scientific research and technology in the port area, Helena said helplessly. Next, we will teach you knowledge about transformation, not just the transformation of ships, including the modification of ship equipment. There are also other related knowledge. I hope that the efforts we have made can catch up. Can you catch up? What does this mean? Qin Ji asked. Commander Qin Ji doesn't really think that we have defeated those arbiters, right? Helena asked. Isn't it? I saw you defeat them with my own eyes, Qin Ji said. Sorry, we only defeated their machines, not their true bodies. Moreover, the information about our world has been positioned by them. When the next wave of attacks comes, it will be a battle that determines the outcome. However, due to some reasons of time difference, they cannot arrive in this world now, but they will definitely come to this world one day in the future, and we must be prepared for the decisive battle at that time. We alone cannot defeat them in their entirety, so we need your help. Helena said. Qin Ji nodded. This is necessary. This world is our world originally, and I can't thank you enough for your help. If we are just spectators, then it would be too shameful. Haha, then I wish us a happy cooperation. That's it for today. Commander Qin Ji has just returned to the port area. Regarding future cooperation, let's take it step by step, Helena said. Saying goodbye to the ships of Yi Yan, Qin Ji took his ship girls and left Yi Yan's residence. However, they did not go back to the dormitory, but directly returned to Qin Ji's command room. What do you think? Qin Ji said to the leaders of the ship ladies. I didn't notice any problems, but I think this is the biggest problem, Bismarck said. Everything is too coincidental, so coincidental that there is no sense of violation. Maybe we are just worrying too much, the company said. No, I think the most critical point in this matter lies with the commander. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 784. However, I think the most important part of this issue lies with the commander. Richelieu looked at Qin Ji and said, although those people like Yan Yan said that the commander is special to them, I think they still have something to say. Hide. Because there are so many so-called parallel worlds. Since it is possible for our world to travel like commander, why can't we guarantee that other worlds will also appear? I don't think we can rule out the possibility that the commander isn't the special one, and I feel like the Embers are a little too enthusiastic. Are you enthusiastic? Qin Ji touched his chin. That makes sense, but what could be their purpose? I can't believe they must be asking for something from us, but with our current abilities, there shouldn't be anything we can give them. Right. Perhaps this is what they think is special about the commander, King George V said. The commander can achieve their goals. With such temptation, can they help us with all their strength? It's very possible. Maybe this is the correct answer to everything. Soviet Rosia nodded. What is their goal? Defeat the Sirens, Qin Ji asked doubtfully, but I feel that they are essentially the same as the Sirens. They all serve a goal. Siren conducts experiments in various worlds in order to collect data. But instead of collecting these low-end data, wouldn't the data from fighting Ember and the others be more gratifying? In other words, they essentially know the basics, and the data collected in this way is of no use to their goals. It's unclear at the moment. They have been hiding something, and they always shirk the commander's problem by saying that our strength is not in place, Bismarck said. Well, it's true that we know so much now that it won't help. It's better to increase your strength first, Qin Ji smiled, then let's talk about the problem of transforming ships. It is still possible for us to get those steel and materials, but I believe that even Akashi will not be able to get the steel that everyone needs at the moment. And we don't know much about converting ships at the moment, and they haven't said anything about the risks involved. Therefore, I decided to count a group of people first and let them transform first. After making sure there was not much risk, I then carried out a comprehensive transformation. So do you have any candidates? Hearing Qin Ji's question, several people present looked at each other, but in the end it was Bismarck who broke the situation. I elect myself, Bismarck said, as the leader of the Iron Blood, and as the commander's ship's wife, I have the obligation and responsibility to take certain risks for the Iron Blood and the port area. So if a group of people were to be selected for ship conversion, I hope I would be one of those people. Oh, is Bismarck so active? In fact, I also want to recommend my own. This is considered selfish. After all, I also want to see how powerful the ship is, King George V said. I don't think everyone needs to compete for this spot. The first batch of spots will be filled by a few of us. First, we are all leaders of each camp. We must lead by example and stand bravely at the front. Second, we are also the management of the fleet. If we can convert ships, we must increase the priority. Thirdly, as the commander's wedding ship, we cannot let the commander be embarrassed by this, so do you have any other questions? Magi smiled. No. Everyone shook their heads and looked at Qin Ji. This move made Qin Ji stop touching his nose and said, to be honest, I actually want you to be the first batch of people to be transformed. Please forgive my selfishness. Because you are the people who have been with me the longest, and you are almost all my wedding guests, so I hope you can take on this responsibility, both publicly and privately. No matter what happens, we will face it together. But there is nothing to worry about. According to what Helena said today, they are relatively confident in doing this. If they are not very sure, they will basically not mention this matter to us. Their intention to cooperate now is very obvious. So I am very optimistic about this conversion. Haha, Commander used to be the first to do everything. Now it's our turn, so Commander doesn't have to say sorry to us or anything, Veneto said with a smile. Oh, that's it for now. Next, I will be responsible for communicating directly with Akashi, Qin Ji said with a smile. There is one more thing I want to ask your opinion on. Commander, please speak, King George V said. Qin Ji nodded. I plan to spend a day tomorrow to summon all the ship girls that can be summoned as much as possible to expand the number of people in our port area and directly enhance the combat strength of our port area. However, I am worried about the current infrastructure of our port area. If so many ship girls suddenly increase, I wonder if the place to live will be enough. And can the entertainment facilities, etc. be matched? The commander can rest assured. The commander has told us about this before, so during the time we came back, we have built as many dormitories as possible. The reason why the commander didn't see it was because those dormitories were in another area, but they were not far from the dormitory where we live now, probably only a few hundred meters away, and it only took a few steps to get there. As for the entertainment facilities, the supporting facilities are not perfect yet, but these can be improved one after another in the future. Our Manju manufacturing has now entered the production stage. Coupled with the number of cores obtained from this battle, we will soon be able to have a large number of logistic support Manju, so we don't have to worry about future construction issues. Jinhai said. That's great. Thank you very much for your efforts on the fleet. I used to only think about how to increase the current strength, and I didn't think much about the accommodation of the port area. I didn't think about these supporting facilities until I came back. Thanks to your actions, Qin Ji said. This is what we should do, to do some auxiliary things for the commander and solve problems. This is the meaning of our existence as counselors, Tian Cheng said with a smile. Okay, then everything will return to normal. The heads of your various scientific research projects can then ask more about Ember and strive to improve our scientific research strength to a higher level. Especially in the area of scientific research drawings, we should make more attempts to try to create our own scientific research ship girl in the port area, and this will be left to you, Bismarck. Qin Ji said. No problem, I will make arrangements next, Bismarck said. Okay, let's basically finish everything before the Chinese New Year, Qin Ji said with a smile. Yes.